Hi, Mary. I want to say thank you for reaching out to me. I want to know if I have consent to record this interview.
You do have consent to record this interview.
Okay, great. So, can you tell me your full name and how are you related or how do you know Natalie?
My full name is Mary Nunn. I know Natalie via her father. I was married to him for 28 years, and I was her stepmother during that duration. So I've known Natalie since she was 6, and her brother were 8. That's when they came into my life.
Yeah, very young. Okay, so Natalie recently mentioned that my dad had a previous drug addiction. So can you tell me a little bit about Natalie's father?
Well, when I met Earl in the latter part of 91, he was actually in a rehab or some type of clean and sober type home. Unbeknownst to me, in the beginning stages of our dating, he had hid that from me. And he kept telling me over his various dates, he had a secret to tell me. And I was concerned because that's when, AIDS was really prevalent, right? It had just really came out in society, like it was, people were getting it. And I was like, what in the world is he going to tell me? It was scaring me because it was so serious. And he finally told me that he had this issue with drugs, right? And but that he had been in this clean and sober environment, and he was okay. He had handled it or whatever. And so we started dating, and he would bring the children.
Is Natalie from the Bay? Because she always claims that that's where she's from.
Natalie is actually from a city called San Mateo/Foster City, which is on the peninsula of South Bay Area. It wouldn't be considered, I guess all of it's Bay Area, but that's more of a suburb, an upper middle class suburb. Traditionally, it's all white. Natalie went to parochial school, private school, and all of her classmates and friends were white. I threw her a summer party when she was about 12 years old, and she had probably, 16 to 20 kids that showed up, and all of them were white with a few that might have been Asian. She pretty much had a pretty comfortable life. From my hindsight, she didn't really want for anything. What have you.
That's crazy because she almost claims to have all this street credit, saying she's from the Bay and saying I run LA and saying all these things, and people don't know this about her whatsoever.
No. In a lot of ways, I found it hard to relate to her because it was just very different.
So she grew up with a bunch of rich kids and had all white friends, is essentially what you're saying.
Rich kids. Very well-to-do kids. She went to Mountain View parochial school called St. Francis. The mass of the school is white and funded by rich white parents. I worked at American Airlines for a multitude of years, and I gave both children, Natalie and Ronald, my passcodes to my flying privileges, which meant they could go online and literally book themselves anywhere in the world, first class. And they did.
Yeah, I remember her always bragging about flights and American Airlines and how she spent all this money on first class and basically bragging that she was paying for all these flights on her own. Pay for these tickets, or were you paying for them?
They came out of my paycheck. They weren't full fare.
Yeah,
but they were definitely something. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, you're paying for them and she's getting them for free.
I paid for all her tickets.
Yeah.
And, she would fly all the time, and sometimes I would be at my ticket counter at American because I worked first class, and I would see her come in and go down the escalator to the baggage claim and say, dang, my stepdaughter's in town, and I would say to my colleagues, I'm just gonna go see her, and I would run down behind her and say, oh, you're here? And she would say, oh, yeah, I just came in to see my mom and my friends. I said, well, you know, it would be nice if you came and saw me sometimes, me and your father. We'd like to lay our eyes upon you, too. And she says, you know, yeah, I will. But she never really did.
And what's crazy is, like, she's using your money to get these flights, and she can't even, like, stop by to even say hey to you.
She didn't even say hi.
Wow, I see her doing that.
She wouldn't even say hi. I had to run after her. And many things like that.